But is that all the index and match function does? Does it return only a single value? Well, I would say no. So, how does the index and match function works? Well, they are not necessarily just a single function. Rather, they are two separate functions who are very dependent on each other, like Superman and Lois Lane. And in today's video, we will learn the basis of it, and I hope you really like to use it going forward. And so we are going to use this data to learn a little bit about the index and match function. Well, like I said, with the index function, all you need to do is to introduce the equal sign as usual and type in the index, you hit the tab key, and the index function, it is asking us for the array. So let's simply select the array we are looking for. We'll bring in the comma sign, and it is asking us for the row number. So with the array you've selected, within which row do you want to find out this data you are looking for? So let's say we want to row 5. Let's say we want to row 5 for it, probably need the essential. We'll hit in the comma again, and it is asking us for the column number. So after you've identified the row number where your data is found, so within which column do you want to return? So let's say we want to return column 2. So we want to return the quantity. So column 1, 2, quantity is in column 2. So let's simply type in the 2, and that will be it. Let's close our parenthesis for now and simply hit enter. So this is what the index function does on its own. It only returns a value without necessarily referencing. So in case that a person is to come over here and simply change the name over here to, let's say, milk, right? Typing, you see there is no change over here. So this is what the index function does on its own. Then we move on to the match function. So what does the match function also does? So let's introduce the match function over here for brown sugar. Let's simply hit the enter. So the match function is asking us for what? The lookup value. So just like the S lookup over here also, the match function asks for the lookup value. The index function doesn't. So let's say we are looking for brown sugar, right? We'll hit in the comma sign, and now it's asking for the lookup array. So now our lookup array is under the brown. So we'll simply select this entire array. Let's simply lock it with the F4 key and bring in the comma sign. Then now it is asking us for what's the match type. We want the exact match, right? So we'll simply select the exact match, hit the tab key. Then now let's close our parenthesis and simply hit enter now. So now what exactly appeared? So let's go through our brands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it just gave us the position or the row number where our brown sugar is found. So unlike the index function that returns a certain data that you want, like the quantity, or probably if you want the sell price, the match function returns the actual position of the very data or value you are looking for. So combining the index and match function, you are able to reference and also bring out the very data or the very specific data you are looking for. So let's try it over here. So let's simply bring in the equal sign, type in the index function. So this is how we use the index and match function together. So we'll simply hit the tab key. So now we are now looking for our array. So let's simply select this entire array, okay? Simply select the entire array. Let's lock it with the F4 key. Then now we'll introduce the comma sign. And over here, rather than typing in the row number, this is where we'll introduce the match function, right? So we introduce the match function. Then now what's our lookup value? So the lookup value we are looking for is, let's say, this peak, right? So we'll simply select this peak milk. We can type it, but since we want to reference it, we'll simply select the cell where the peak is found. And now it is asking us for our lookup array. So we'll simply go back to our brands, select the entire array. Let's lock the array also, and also bring in the comma sign. And now we want an exact match, so we'll simply move one step down, hit the tab key. Then let's close this parenthesis for now to end our match function, right? So we'll bring in the comma sign again. And now after we have looked out for this value, what actually do we want? We want the quantity or the sell price. We want the quantity for now. So the quantity is found in column number 2 after this array. So we'll simply type in 2. Let's close our parenthesis, or let's close the entire function for now or formula, and simply hit enter. Then voila, the quantity for peak milk actually appears. So now over here, what makes this very unique is, in the case that we are to change this to Dano and hit enter, then it simply affects our final output. But you see, there is no change over here because our quantity for the Dano is also 80. But what if we are to change it to, let's say, 75 over here? Then it affects our final results. So this is what the index and match function does together. But is that all the index and match function does? Does it return only a single value? Well, I would say no. So moving on, here we have this large data set where we can't be skimming through, be finding the data one by one and be typing them here. So that's the index and match function in this regard, where we just need to type a single formula here, then return all these data. Yes, the index and match function does help with that. So how does it work over here? So let's simply say we want the dano, and in the case you don't want to be typing the data you are looking for or the lookup value you are looking for one by one, we can simply validate it, or we can simply create a list for that. So let's go to the data validation. We'll go to the data tab, come to the data validation. Okay, so here we want a list, so let's simply select a list. Where is our source? This is the source we want. Control shift down to select the entire thing and hit enter. Then we'll simply hit OK. So now a list has been provided for us over here. So anytime we want something to look out for, we'll simply click on this drop down list and it will appear. And so to search for the value of all these data for this lookup value, what we'll do is to select this entire range, right? So we'll select the entire range, then we'll move to the formula bar and introduce the index function. So equal to the index function, hit the tab key. Then now it is asking for the array. So this is the entire array we want. So we'll select the entire array. Okay, we'll select the entire array. Let's lock it up. Then now we'll introduce the comma sign. Then here also we'll introduce the match function. When it is asking for the row number, we'll introduce the match function. And our lookup value. So this is obviously our lookup value. And here, since our data or since the column will remain a constant whilst the row changes, we will simply lock only the column. So we'll simply lock only the column by hitting the F4 key 3 times. And what array are we talking about? So this is the entire array. So we'll simply select the entire array. Let's lock it up now. Let's lock up the array and bring in the comma sign. And since we want an exact match, we'll simply move one step down, hit the tab key to select the 0, close the first parenthesis for the match function. Then we'll introduce another comma. Then let's introduce the last match function over here. We'll simply hit the tab key. And now since the data we want is for the new quantity true to the new stock, our lookup value will first be this one. So we'll simply select this lookup value. And since the column will be changing while the row remains a constant, we'll lock the row. Then now we'll introduce the comma sign again. Then now, what is our lookup array? So this is our entire lookup array, right? This is our entire lookup array. So because we want this entire data over here, so we'll simply lock this our heading also. Then now the match type, obviously we want an exact match. One step down, hit the tab key to select the 0, close our parenthesis for the last match function, then close it for the entire formula, right? Then over here, rather than simply hitting the enter, what we'll do, since this is an array we are dealing with, we'll use the control enter to introduce the entire data. So voila, now our data for each and every one of these has appeared. So the new quantity for Dano, if we are to come to this entire data set, obviously the new quantity is 4, the new cost price is 4.5. Okay, the new sale price is 5 here, the total stock is 60, just like our final output. So this is how you can use the index and match function in a large data set also. So in case you don't want to always be using the VLOOKUP, you can always use the index and match function this way. What about if you have to change it to Nido Essential? Let's try it and see if indeed it's working or it's not just a fluke. So we'll simply select Nido Essential and voila, everything actually works out for us.